This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships.
Last time out at Glanagorse, a front fairing penalty robbed Matteo Zanetti of a dominant win in the second final. Here at Clay Pigeon, he's been dominant in both heats and the first final. Can he keep the bandwagon rolling into round 10?
So far, weekend's gone alright. Qualified fourth, then managed to get into lead in heat one and win heat one. The track's sort of relatively short, but very technical. So, because it's a short lap, you end up doing quite a few laps, which makes it quite physical as well. It makes the racing really close and quite enjoyable as well. There's a lot of competition in this class. The people pushing me the most would be Michael Cheek and Nathan Schaefer. It's a benefit as well because you've got to make sure you're right on the edge when it comes to qualifying in the race, because the racing's so close, you've got to make sure you're the best you can be basically.
Zanetti and McConnell on the front row, Haynes and Cheek, Thomas and Oliver, Moorcroft, Edwards, Beecroft and Whaley, Jake Sanson and Sam Hunter with you as we talk you through the final action. Away we go, Rotax 177 charges through the first corner, and it's already fisticuffs nearly through that first couple of corners, but Zanetti just about hangs on to the lead as they get their way through the S's, straight over, and a problem as the E-plate goes across the grass, and a spin from Chris Thomas. He's into the barriers and off the circuit, rejoins at the back, but an absolute disaster for Chris Thomas. Meanwhile, the race is up front. Zanetti, McConnell and Ethan Haynes battling away for the victory. Michael Cheek has again averted disaster. He's there in fourth position, and there's been another incident further back. That is Nathan Schaefer, who has come together with the Schumacher chassis of Charlie Whaley. So a very dramatic opening lap. Looks as though everybody's pretty much still going, although there's going to be a monumental battle down the order between Schaefer, Thomas and Whaley. But out in front, up to second has come Ethan Haynes past Jack McConnell. So Zanetti leads the way, but there's a furious battle behind.
Chris Thomas, well, I mean, that just pretty much sums up how miserable his weekend's been. Just hasn't got the luck whatsoever. Found himself facing the wrong way out of the S's. Has managed to rejoin the race though, but it's a big ask to get a significant amount of points in this one. I just saw that manoeuvre there. Haynes going up the inside at Billy's, managed to make that move, and now he is closing in on Zanetti, to be fair.
So it's going to be a tough battle between these three. But Matteo Zanetti, who has won every race he started so far this weekend, both heats and the previous final, along with the second place man Ethan Haynes, who had his arm in the air there. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. Jack McConnell in third position, and the championship leader Michael Cheek again just staying consistent in fourth position, with the 7 of James Moorcroft in behind him. And there's a contact further back. Problems there as Michael Roots has had an incident, and I'm not sure who that is he's gone with, but we've had an incident there, and I think that might be Ian, that could be Ian Branfield. It's certainly single digits driver that's come off the circuit there. So we've got a problem. Michael Roots has had an issue, and I think it is with Ian Branfield. Yes, Branfield is off the circuit and out of the race for the Howard Racing team. And there's a yellow flag further back as the E-plate again in trouble. That's Cole Edwards, who's had a spin and now drops down the order. This is crazy stuff at Rotax 177 at Clay Pigeon as we get to the business end of the championship. In the midfield, a little bit of fisticuffs there between Joe Fiffner and Aaron Yao. But up at the front, here comes Ethan Haynes trying to come around the outside of Matteo Zanetti for the lead of the race. He's really pushing on a charge now. And Ethan Haynes all over the back of Matteo Zanetti as they come out of the S's.
You need a lot of overspeed coming out of the top bend in order to overtake someone in this left-hand bend in the pit straight here, heading down towards the first corner, and Hayes didn't quite have enough speed, which isn't surprising given the pace that Zanetti's shown so far this weekend. He's got better opportunities, I think, really at the corner of Billy's or at the hairpin or horseshoe. But at the moment he is looking faster than Zanetti, which isn't something we've been able to say often this weekend, that's for sure. Has another good run here down to Billy's. He doesn't make a move this time though, so it will be Zanetti in the lead, coming out and into the S's now onto the Sturmy straight once again. How good a run can Haynes get? He's certainly giving the best go that we've seen out of any of the drivers who have challenged Zanetti so far today. Having got past McConnell on the first lap, Haynes looking very racy, has a little look there, but Zanetti at the moment under some pressure, Jay.
Michael Cheek has had to fight his way back past Luke Oliver to get into what is now, I think that's 5th position, because up to 4th has come James Moorcroft. So Moorcroft has made some good places. Here comes Zanetti again battling with Ethan Haynes. 3rd place, Jack McConnell trying to stay in touch. Moorcroft in P4. Then it is Michael Cheek, Luke Oliver, then Davis, Beecroft, Wright, Milner, Yao, Fifner, Bleakley and Sam Winter. Chris Thomas having fought his way back up to 15th after his earlier incident. That's pretty impressive on its own, considering he was off in the barriers at the S's. So to make his way back up into 15th is brilliant racing. Michael Roots has come off the circuit and retired after his incident earlier on with Ian Branfield. That is a shame, but now we've got this great battle down the pit straight. Here comes Ethan Haynes, right underneath Zanetti. He's going to go side by side in the first corner, and he's there! Ethan Haynes grabs the lead from Matteo Zanetti, and that has not happened very often this weekend. He was overtaken in the early stages of the earlier final by Jack McConnell, but Zanetti got him back again. But now Ethan Haynes has made the draw on Team Clay Racing's home patch.
Wonderful racing there from Ethan Haynes. In the Team Clay Racing, of course, knows this circuit incredibly well. Better than Zanetti, that's for sure. Not that you'd have known it from the results that we've seen so far this weekend. Zanetti just needs to find a little bit of pace somewhere, because Haynes has been catching him over a number of laps. And to be honest, the overtake, I think, looks pretty fair, especially based on the momentum of the race so far. Just see now if Zanetti can find that extra bit of pace, because when he was overtaken in the first heat, he's just managed to get back into the lead, having just found a little more time from somewhere, heading down towards the hairpin. He's already closed that gap. How does he manage to do that? He just seems to find a little bit of extra pace when he's overtaken. Maybe he just likes the pressure for the entertainment value.
I think he's definitely got the measure of this kart on this circuit. Meanwhile, Michael Cheek, championship leader, is struggling. He's just lost ground to Luke Oliver and Colin Davis on that lap. That drops into 7th place. So that's going to cost him a few points. He's still going to have a decent advantage over James Beecroft, though, who is still behind him on the racetrack. So Michael Cheek now is looking at a potential 603 points to Beecroft's 578, and then with Oliver in 3rd on 566. So Moorcroft is up to 4th in the standings with his performance in P4. Zanetti still all over the back of Ethan Haynes as Michael Cheek desperately tries to find some pace on the inside of Luke Oliver again, but he's not quite able to get there. Other names in difficulties, well, Chris Thomas has fought his way back to 14th. Bleakley is up past 5th now into 11th. And Cole Edwards, after his earlier spin, is up to 16th place, so he's making big ground. But this is the battle for the victory up front. 33, Ethan Haynes, and the O-plate, Matteo Zanetti. Great to see Matteo Zanetti mixing it back in the British Car Championships. Was a former title contender in the Junior Saloon Car Championship a couple of seasons ago. Lost that title to Katie Milner, of course, who now races in Ginettas. But this is a brilliant return to form for Matteo Zanetti. The Italian has come back to British karting in 2019, and what a performance he is doing now as a senior. He's lost none of his speed. If anything, he's gained it from the switch to cars, because he's come back into the world of karting and been absolutely phenomenal. Now he's got a chance here. Makes a good run through the S's. He won't make the move into hands. He might get the opportunity into horseshoe.
And yeah, he is putting on the pressure on Ethan Haynes now, isn't he, Zanetti? Again, just falling behind. He seems to just find a little bit of motivation from somewhere. Don't know whether the pressure was really high on him being in the lead, and this just releases a little bit of weight from his shoulders. He's able to really race again. Ethan Haynes knows that he's the underdog in this particular race. Zanetti, the favourite for sure. Going down to Billy's, he hasn't quite got the speed to be able to create an opportunity at Billy's. Out of the S's again and onto the Sturmy straight. Any opportunity at all that Zanetti will take, you imagine it will probably turn into a position change.
Worth pointing out again, of course, that these are very long races, 15 minutes plus the lap. He's sat behind Ethan Haynes, so essentially Haynes is doing all the work. He's out in front, he's pushing his tyres, he's pushing his brakes, he's pushing his engine, but sat in second position in the draft, Matteo Zanetti can just chill out in second position, just follow his every move, wait for a blinding opportunity, and then start to accelerate away as he did in the previous 3 races. So he won his first heat by a second, won the second heat by 4.5, and then managed to check out by a couple of seconds in the first final earlier on. So there's still plenty of time to go for Zanetti. Haynes is just dialing him in, waiting for an opportunity to stick it up the inside and go for a move. They come off Buttons and up towards the top end once again. Still some great racecraft from these two up front. There's a great battle in the midfield as well as Michael Cheek tries to get back on terms with his teammate Luke Oliver. They've lost so much time to Moorcroft and Davis. So now Michael Cheek in 7th place. As further back, that is Chris Wright trying to get into 8th position on James Beecroft as they come through the first couple of corners of the lap. So some really exciting battles from our contenders in Rotax 177. Out of the braking zone, the 33 Ethan Haynes still pushing very hard indeed, trying to get the absolute maximum from the kart. Zanetti actually losing a couple of kart lengths there as he just tries to let Haynes have a bit more breathing space. I wonder if he's going to drop a little way back and then come back at him with a little bit more momentum. He doesn't need to push too hard at this phase of the race. There's still 6 minutes on the clock. Long finals, of course, and ticking down those minutes is going to be crucial to who has the best preparation. He's already got the gap down to nothing, so he's already trying to come back at him as Michael Cheek does make the move up the inside of Luke Oliver into Hans Hairpin. So that puts him into P6. That's crucial in terms of the championship fight because Beecroft isn't gaining points on him, but Moorcroft is, as too is Luke Oliver at this point. So he needs to keep banging in those good results. But so far, that would put him, Michael Cheek, on 604 points, and that would take him one step closer to his goal of becoming champion.
James Moorcroft as well, he's having a pretty understated race in 4th position. He's managed to gain 3 from his grid start and up into 4th, and up the inside here's Zanetti on the race lead. He's managed to get past Ethan Haynes there into the lead of the race, reclaiming that position, and once again, similarly to the first heat, he conceded that early position there, found himself in 2nd place, but then just managed to find a bit of extra speed. Now Ethan Haynes has all the work to do once again, heading down towards Billy's line. Great move by Zanetti.
Textbook move from Matteo Zanetti, exactly as he needed to get the job done. He managed to get the move on Ethan Haynes, but now the roles are reversed, and Haynes is going to be the one doing all of the chasing on Matteo Zanetti. He won't want to let this victory slip away. It would be his first in 177 in a final this year if he manages to get past Matteo Zanetti. But in 3rd is Jack McConnell, who's had a really solid weekend on the KR Sport machine. So if he can get an opportunity to get past both of these guys, he's going to take it. Haynes again pressuring Matteo Zanetti into Billy's blind, trying to edge him into a mistake. But Zanetti is not going to crumble that easy. Down the Sterney straight, up towards the Hans Hairpin. In through the right-hander, little bit of off-camber there, and then back up towards the horseshoe. This is where Zanetti nailed him a lap ago. Back on the power again, up towards Buttons, named after the 2009 Formula 1 World Champion Jenson Button, who started his racing career at this very circuit. As the Pigeon Kart Club claims, winners start here. Haynes tries again through that first corner and into Billy's blind. He's not quite going to get through on the inside, up towards the SCs. He's really starting to dig deep and find a manoeuvre though, as Matteo Zanetti is having to find some very fast sectors in order to make the draw. I genuinely have the feeling this race is going to go down to the wire between the two of them. Haynes snapping all over the back of Zanetti, and McConnell and Moorcroft are waiting in the wings.
Feeling you could be right there to going straight to the wire. It seems that whoever's in the lead is getting pulverised down down the main straight by the driver in 2nd, and they manage to pick up the slipstream and just have the speed. Even if they get away for the rest of the circuit, the pit straight helps the driver in 2nd so much to catch up to the race leader, and Haynes now is reaping the benefit of that down the Sterney straight once again, and race leader Zanetti under increasing pressure from Haynes. There's just no way to call this one at the moment. Zanetti would have gone into this race thinking, right, I've won all 3 so far this weekend, here comes a 4th, but Haynes is certainly looking to try and throw a spanner in the works, while Jack McConnell and James Moorcroft look on with interest.
Well, Zanetti's very good at positioning the kart into the braking zone for the corners. That's how he's able to stay in front. So Haynes is going to have to dig deep and find something pretty magic to get through. Look, Zanetti, he just pulls the kart across by an inch or 2 off the racing line. Nothing particularly defensive, just enough to keep Haynes at bay. And it's very, very tactical from Zanetti. He's not really blocking in the same way that we've seen in a couple of the other races today. He's just been holding his line a couple of inches further over the racing line into the braking zone, and that's enough to keep Ethan Haynes a little bit hesitant. He doesn't want to risk and make a big gamble on Zanetti, so he's just got to time it right. but he managed to get the move last time by doing this, and he's going to dive to the inside and get him again. Lovely move from Ethan Haynes as he storms onto the inside line. That's how he got him last time, out of that final bend, the top bend, and down the pit straight. And with 2 minutes to go, Zanetti's got to respond.
Yeah, once again, it was almost a carbon copy of the first manoeuvre. Haynes had the speed and just managed to get the better of Zanetti before even the first corner even arrived. I thought maybe Ethan Haynes, as is often a common tactic here, was maybe just biding his time a little bit, waiting for the last couple of opportunities and then striking. But he just knew that was an opportunity he had to take. I think Zanetti would have gone very defensive, of course, in the final lap, and he didn't want to take that risk, so Haynes up the inside. But now he once again be obliterated down that pit straight by this sheer speed of second place, using that slipstream, the wind, of course. There's a fair amount of wind today, so it's helping the drivers behind any other drivers get as much slipstream as possible. Zanetti to Haynes, though, going to go right till the wire with just over a minute left to go as they pass the back marker there.
Yeah, Tim Darlow getting out of the way, not causing an issue for anybody. Very good work from Tim Darlow to spot the blue flag and move aside. But Ethan Haynes has the momentum now in front of Matteo Zanetti to the tune of 0.3 of a second. Zanetti can push like crazy. Having worked the tyres to within an inch of their life, they are now going to have about 2 laps or so after this one to battle for supremacy in the last race of the weekend for 177 Rotax. And Zanetti is definitely starting to hassle him in the braking zones. With 2 laps to go, he'll want to make the move pretty decisive. He's done it already over the course of the weekend. This is the fewest amount of laps in one race that Matteo Zanetti has led, but he's still got a great chance to get Ethan Haynes back again. Haynes has the home advantage. Zanetti has the superior advantage over the course of the previous 3 heats, and Zanetti just attacking those apexes. Meanwhile, we're so busy watching these two that James Moorcroft has crept up onto the back bumper of Jack McConnell, and there's a chance he could steal 3rd position in the last lap and a half as time runs down to 0.
Driving really well is James Moorcroft, once again, like Ethan Haynes, knows this track incredibly well as he come out of the top end for the penultimate time. They'll cross the line and see the last lap board. Ethan Haynes actually seems to have a pretty sizable advantage on Zanetti going down the pit straight that time. I don't know whether Zanetti maybe made a small mistake at the end of that lap. So coming onto the Sturmey straight now, it's Zanetti versus Haynes on the Sturmey straight for the final time. Is there a late opportunity? Oh my gosh, he got so late on the brakes there, but there wasn't quite enough space for him to move into the horseshoe. Haynes doesn't need to go defensive, and I don't think McConnell does either. Slightly further down the road, Zanetti just in behind. He's going to have an amazing exit out the top end here to get alongside on the final bend.
But Ethan Haynes is going to hold it, and he wins on home soil. Ethan Haynes clinches a crucial victory. He finally ends Matteo Zanetti's run, and it means so much to him. Ethan Haynes has won a Clay Pigeon in the British Championships in round 10, and what a drive it was. Matteo Zanetti in 2nd place, valiant effort from him. 3rd position goes the way of Jack McConnell in front of James Moorcroft. 5th place for Colin Davis. Michael Cheek in a solid 6th place, so he still maintains a 26-point advantage over James Beecroft in the Drivers' Championship. Luke Oliver and James Beecroft are next up, from Chris Wright and Chris Thomas in the top 10 of this race. Nathan Chafer is 11th from Dan Milner, Cole Edwards and Joe Bleakley, Sam Winter, Joe Pfiffner, Charlie Whaley and Tim Darlow, with the retirements Aaron Yao, Michael Roots and Ian Branfield. But crucially, in terms of the championship fight, Michael Cheek still has the upper hand heading to Forest Edge, but Ethan Haynes has stormed a brilliant home win.
Ethan Haynes clinches a terrific result universally adored by the crowds, with Matteo Zanetti in a valiant 2nd and a strong 3rd place for Jack McConnell on his 2019 debut.
I was literally like 2-3 car lengths just behind both of the guys the whole way. Just couldn't really get close enough onto them to make any moves. On the last few laps, they just kind of pulled away from me just that little bit. But it's our first race in 177 this weekend, and we've shown that we're capable of winning, up being at the front, being consistent. So I think a lot of positives to take away for us, and we're going to be competitive again, hopefully. So yeah, good day, I think.
Final one started on pole. Got the kart set up correct and managed to pull a gap. Had a bit of a fight with Jack as well. Managed to win the first final. Second final, got into lead at the start again. Tried to pull away, but then Ethan was giving me a good race. Then we were swapping positions most of the race. And yeah, managed to come home in P2. Good points to the championship.
Yeah, well, we've had a brilliant weekend. Really thrilled to do it on our home track. Had a bit of practice here last weekend and we've been racing here for years now. Really enjoyed the circuit. We had a bit of bad luck in qualifying, put us back in 10th position in time qualifying, so had a bit of work to do. Managed the first final to make it through to third, which we were very thrilled with. Fresh mindset, fresh setup on the kart, thanks to Dad, and managed to get it set all day. Managed to start the second final third, kept our head down from there, good result, and cracked through for the win. So really enjoyed it, hard race. Put up a very good fight, but yeah, managed to come out on top. So very thrilled.